And welcome to part 2 of my mini-series on adoption processes. Today we're going to talk about all things private adoption. So for this route, you're actually going to hire someone called a private adoption practitioner who's going to work you through the home study process. And so if you are approved by them, you're going to have a copy of your home study at the end of it that you have paid for. So they're going to come into your home a number of times and do the various things that are involved with getting approved. So a couple of examples are they're going to do a physical examination of your home just to make sure it's up to code with adoption and that it's safe for a child to come into your home. And then there's medicals and police checks, fingerprints. They're going to ask for a couple references of people in your life that they will then contact to ask about you. And we honestly just felt so supported by our worker through the whole process. And there's a lot of really helpful conversation that happens, and they answer all the questions that might be looming in the back of your mind. And our worker had quite a time crunch to get our study done because Kai was about to be born. And so she got it all done in 3 months, and it was finished 2 days before he was born. And so the cost to hire a practitioner is about $3,000, at least in our area. But we totally understood why it was that, because they just work so hard to make sure it's done properly, and they print off all the paperwork, and they come to your home again a number of times. And so we just again just really loved having one worker that was our source for everything we needed. Practitioners can be found either through an adoption agency or independently, depending on where you live. And so we found ours by just simply Googling adoption practitioners in my area. And it's important to remember that when you get in contact with them, before you hire them, ask some important questions like, how long have you been in the field? How many home studies have you completed? And maybe how much experience have you had in the area of adoption that I'm interested in. So on top of completing the home study with your practitioner, you're going to be doing something called Pride training here in Canada. And so I went into quite a bit of detail about what this all looks like in my Children's Aid Society video. So if you want to know more details, just head over there. With private adoption, it's currently accepted that you can either do it online or in person. Your practitioner may recommend that you do it in person just to get that face-to-face communication, but you do have the option to do either. And so we did it online, and we're really happy with it. Essentially, you could choose when to do it throughout the week. You'd have about 1 to 3 hours of screen time, and the cost is actually quite a bit less with the online version. So we paid $300 for both of us, whereas the in-person is about $1,000 for the couple. And so like I mentioned, totally your choice. Once everything is completed with your practitioner and you've passed the Pride training course, you're going to be bringing your home study to a private adoption agency. And then there should be just a couple steps that you need to do in order to get on their registry for birth parents to look through. And so those steps may vary a bit depending on which agency you go to, but typically they would look like registering with the agency, having some sort of orientation, and then having a private consultation with someone that works at the agency. And then after those things are done, ideally you would be an active case. And again, birth parents who would like to place their child for adoption would see your profile and be able to choose you. Average private adoption in Canada costs anywhere between $15,000 and $28,000. And again, that really varies depending on the agency that you're working with. And so the reason that it is so much is because not only are you paying for the home study and the training, but you're also covering a lot of things that come with working through the private adoption agency. So potentially, say, postpartum counseling for the birth mom of your child, and legal fees that come with processing and adoption. Let me know in the comments if this video has been helpful, and as always, I'd love to hear from you at 123letstalklife@gmail.com. And I'll see you in the next video on international adoption.